What is going on, guys? So I actually just recently got back from a work trip from Denver, Colorado. And you know me, man, when I'm on these work trips, I like to try to jump out and see what's going on in the game store kind of thing. See what's local, see what's hot, see what's not. And man, so in the Denver area, there is a set of stores. So I was going to go to a couple different game stores, but I happened to go upon this place called Level 7 Games. I went to one of their smaller stores. They actually have 3 locations. And I went to one of their smaller stores, which was awesome. I'll be showing that off in a second. But then they told me about their bigger store, and went there too. And I'm not going to lie, the concept and the execution is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I really can't do it justice kind of being vague about it. So obviously I'm going to show you. So without further ado, you got to check out some really cool spots that I went game hunting in Denver. So when I go to these game stores, basically when I go on these work trips, I just type in retro game store near me, kind of look for a couple things that aren't obviously GameStop, and see what I can find. When I pulled up to this place, I knew I was in for something special. Just looking at this awesome mural. It's like an Aztec mural of all sorts of different video game franchises. When I saw this, I was absolutely blown away. As you'd expect, though, I mean, this place had a great offering of, retro games, all sorts of stuff. Had a really great selection of modern games, stuff that just released that day, that week. They also had all sorts of like plushies, stuffed animals, big into cards. They sold individual and packs. So if you're a card game player, Pokemon, etc., they had you covered. They also had this really neat section in the back that had like a bunch of like Japanese import toys and stuff. In general, like I said, this store was really, really quite great, but it was a little small. But that's the way these places are, right? Little hole in the wall type thing. And then I was going to go on to the next place. But as I was leaving, like I said earlier, I spoke to the guy running the place, and he was like, well, hey, have you checked out our other 2 locations? I didn't have time to go to 3 game stores while I was working there, but he said if I was going to do one thing, go to this new location, their biggest location, which is actually, they took a bank. They bought a bank and turned it into a game store. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of interesting. Banks are pretty large. So I was kind of, like, hey, this is going to be cool. Let's go see what they did. And as I was walking out, he's like, hey, make sure, do not forget to go to the vault. And I was like, the vault? Okay, so now I'm pretty well excited. So I pull up to the second store, and you can tell this definitely was a bank at one point. Also, this one is a little bit different than most game stores I've been to like this. They actually had like a coffee shop, and like a little snack kind of area, which is great because they host tournaments. So when you see stuff like that, you get pretty excited. And I started questioning it when I saw the sign on the outside. I was like, is this a game store, a coffee shop? What am I in for here? But once you walk in and see the inside, you know immediately what you're in for. This place is absolutely massive. I mean, right when you walk in, they have a bunch of shirts and hoodies and stuff for their local brand, some arcade games that you can play, and then kind of a replica section like that one in the first store, where they have a whole bunch of like imported toys and figures, which is really cool for collectors or people who like some nice shelf pieces, because ordering the stuff online and having it shipped to you sometimes is a pain. Also, you don't get to really see it in person. You get to just see nice pictures, so it's cool to have that here. Also, like the other store, they have a large amount of plushes and stuff like that. But also, they have this really awesome display where it's a Mario pipe with a Piranha Plant coming out with a bunch of TVs just kind of playing some random games. Stuff like this really catches your eye, and like, my God, this is just so freaking cool. Because they have so much room here, they actually have everything split up and divided, very organized. I'm not saying the other place wasn't organized, but with room to spread out, room to grow, you really have room to show off stuff. They have a whole, obviously dedicated section, glass case for rare and retro games. A lot of really good stuff, a lot of really rare stuff, and of course, just like any kind of store like this, you get inventory cycling in and out constantly. But beyond that, they actually had all sorts of different modern games as well, behind the shelves, behind the walls. Just really convenient kind of places to see stuff. They have a whole section dedicated to consoles, new and old, boxed, unboxed. Just really, really great. I mean, I really love the organization of this place, and they just have so much to show off here. They have another kind of side spot where it has more modern accessories and stuff, headphones, controllers, and then stuff from like maybe last gen or 2 gen ago, you know, Xbox 360, GameCube, where it's like it's kind of retro now, but it's still, you know, it's still kind of a good amount of inventory to it. Of course, the rare stuff is in the case, but it's nice to be able to pick through older stuff and just kind of see some of the games that you may be missing or fill in some of the gaps in your collection. I'm always a big fan of stuff like this, where it's on the shelves where you can kind of look through it. Because I mean, I understand how some of the expensive stuff needs to go up, but I hate it when all the older stuff is up. It makes it kind of frustrating for, you know, if you want to see if something has a book or not, you have to ask 1,000 questions. Like I said, they have a lot of inventory here, so I think that was kind of the driving force between letting all this stuff kind of hang out like this. And I wasn't lying, they have a little coffee snack shop, which is something stores like this, you know, usually they'll just sell like chips or whatever, but the fact that this has its own dedicated space is really cool, and it's really clean. You know, you don't see something like this in stores like this, so it's really cool that they have this here. One thing I really had to point out though is all around the top in this area they have all sorts of maps from different games. I asked the owners, it's like, well, who decided what maps are being used here? And they just said that all the employees got to pick some of their favorite maps, and me personally thought it was awesome that they had a throwback to the old school RuneScape map. Well, y'all know me, I'm not really a big card guy or board game guy, but they have basically a third of this whole massive store dedicated to cards, board games, different stuff of that nature, stuff that I'm not personally into, but I know a lot of people are, and oh my gosh, they have you covered here. I mean, they have tournaments and games. They have, I actually saw them teaching a kid about, I believe, Magic the Gathering while I was there. Just a little kid, didn't know anything about it, but was just interested, and they sat down and they were showing him how the cards worked and everything, and even helped him and his mother build him a deck. Stuff like that, the real personal stuff, really makes stores like this awesome, and I just love that they have that kind of vibe here. I mean, this is such a cool place with just overall really chill people. And now the piece de resistance, the vault. It is literally a vault. It is literally the bank's old vault, big vault door. You walk in, the first thing you see is in the wall they have custom put in like some of like the rarest of the rarest of the rares, you know, the Black Lotus Magic card, you know, just super rare video games, stuff that's not for sale, just like, hey, look what we got this in the vault. And then you look around further, and then they do have the stuff obviously for sale in there. Very rare stuff. Yellow Dreamcast controller they had like right before I got there when I was looking for one, so I missed it. But they just have really rare games, really rare Pokemon cards, really rare accessories and consoles. I mean, you know, they get stuff in and out all the time, and just what I was looking at was great. They had a couple of Sharp NES remotes in here, not for the TV remotes, but like the NES game pads, the black ones. You know, if I didn't already have two, I would have got you know, my second one here for sure. It's just so neat seeing this kind of stuff. They had some kiosks in here playing, which was really cool. I mean, this to me was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and you could tell that whoever set this up when they were building this, when they were buying this location, they were like, man, you know what? Yes, and it was such a good idea. I personally just love it. I am going to just show all the footage I have here. I don't want to speed it up because I want you to just get a good look of the walk around. So I hope you enjoy the rest of watching this part of it. And like I said, Level 7 Games, man, out in Denver. You have to check this place out. So I really hope you liked those places. They are so cool. If you're in the Denver area, hit them up, give them some love. Man, I'm telling you, the fact that they had all of the rare games in the vault was really like the pièce de résistance. But, you know, there's some cool stuff there. There's some really cool stuff, really knowledgeable people, people who actually care. It's funny, I actually had a conversation with one of the guys about a game that I personally like. that he had never played, and we got to talking about it, and I think I talked him into bringing a copy home to check it out. So I always love fun stuff like that. But hey, tell me what you guys thought down below. If you live in the Denver area or close to the Denver area, have you been to those two game shops? Or you know, if you're going to be going there, maybe you should check them out. Like I said, I'd really like to know what you guys think about it down below. Hey, and that's going to do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It'd be fantastic. But as always, my friends, take it easy.